It's still setting up.
Yay.
Let's see. And hopefully we will start to see it soon.
See it?
Yeah, we're up.
There we go. Okay, ladies, we are live on Facebook. Thank you all for those of you who are waiting because we had a little, Mercury retrograde holding us back as we tried to get started.
You're welcome, Tony Lee.
Yeah. So anyway, I want to say welcome to Sharon, to Samantha, and to Sarah. This is unfortunately Sam's Lost Tuesday with us, at least for a while, because admittedly it is midnight in the UK when she comes on every Tuesday, and she's going to have some early nights and not join us, but we will miss you terribly.
Oh,
yes, we will.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
Yeah. But we'll have you back. Don't worry. We'll have you back. This too shall pass. So anyway, how about everybody give a little bit of an introduction of themselves and where you're at the moment. And then let's just dive into, our today's topic, family fun or family feud over the Christmas season. And, how do you ditch the diet and face the feelings when all of that's going on?
Yeah. Well, I'm Sarah Whalen. I'm coming to you live from the Seattle area in the United States where we speak proper English. And inside joke.
It's on.
It's on, yeah. Happy to be here.
My name's Samantha D. I'm in England where we speak the Queen's English. And yes, it's midnight here, and I'm really looking forward to this discussion on family and family feuding.
Oh, Shweta is actually awake in the UK as well. So welcome, Shweta, for this unearthly hour. Oh. And hey, Tony Lee. So let's see, Sharon.
Sorry, I got lost for a second. My name is Sharon. I am the founder of Nourish and an NLP practitioner. I am located in wine country in Northern California, where most of our neighbors are drunk half the time, but that's okay. We enjoy it. It always makes the holidays fun. So there you go.
All right. I am Beth Gray, and I'm in Panama. And we get no snow. So whatever's happening, I've got the air conditioning on.
I'm so jealous right now.
No in there, Sharon, is it?
No, but chilly. It's cold. It's chilly. Yeah. It got down to like 30 degrees last night.
Ooh, okay. Wow. Okay, so let's get started talking about, holiday season and, the issue of facing the feelings when possibility is you're alone for Christmas. Possibility is that there's emotions coming up of people you're missing at this time, of broken families, of my kids are with the other side of the family, not with me. Or, as simple as I'm going back to mom and dad's and, oh my God, I hope my auntie doesn't say such and such.
Okay.
How do we prepare to face the feelings in the holiday season? And not just stuff it down with food or drown it in drink.
My thoughts on this are, I think everyone's got, if they have a big family get together at Christmas, there's always going to be a strained relationship somehow. And I think what helps me is to try and limit my exposure to that as pleasantly as possible. So, last year, for instance, I sat in the car for 5 minutes, kind of dreading it before I walked into the house. But then, I kind of centered myself and thought, well, this is about enjoying the season, making it joyous for other people rather than, some strained relationship that I might have with someone. And so, just taking a level-headed attitude towards it. But of course, when there's alcohol involved, that probably doesn't help. I mean, my family aren't big drinkers at all. So we don't have that issue. But I can imagine a lot of feuds at Christmas.
Yeah. What about you, Sarah? Maybe not necessarily at the moment, but in the past?
Yeah, it's I think that you just kind of have to measure it and think that everybody's coming in with their best intentions, and we're not all as evolved as the other necessarily. And so if you are the more evolved one, rather than taking things personally, just sort of let it wash over you and off of you, and try not to absorb the negative energy that people are throwing at you if that's what's happening. I think that's kind of a big one for me. Yeah.
I think for me, it's that we try to fit an entire year into about a week and do all of our nice in that period of time, and then kind of give ourselves permission to kind of be dickheads for the rest of the year. And we put this pressure on ourselves that, everything has to be nice. Everything has to be perfect. Everything has to look this way. It all has to work out or it's not okay. And then when it doesn't, when our expectations aren't met, we get exactly what we planned for, which is a resentment. And then we have that resentment active at the dinner table on Christmas. So a lot of Christmas is, have I been diligent throughout the year? What have I done with my relationships throughout the year? And if this Christmas, my relationships aren't where I want them to be, what can I do in this upcoming year to improve those relationships instead of leaving all of that to this 1 week in December? And then when our expectations aren't met, we crumble and get resentful.
That's beautiful, Sharon. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know for me, it's a difficulty, and I was sharing this with somebody recently of, it doesn't matter if I'm in Panama or if I'm in New Zealand or if I'm in England, part of me always feels missing. And that is one of the issues of growing up as a third culture kid, where everywhere is home and everyone is family. And so when you're with one part of the family, you're missing the part that's not here. And, that makes it tough because, you do the phone call, you do the Zoom, you do the whatever, but it's not the same as being there. And I know that there is, for me, a lot of nostalgia. And this year, in Panama, Christmas is celebrated on Christmas Eve, not on Christmas Day. And that bugs the hell out of me. But actually now it's absolutely fabulous with my daughter, because for Christmas Eve, she goes to her dad's place or grandmother's house. And then for Christmas Day, she spends the day with me. And there's actually no conflict whatsoever about me having her for Christmas Day, because for them, Christmas Eve is the big day. And so, I can make my plans for Christmas Day knowing that I don't have a conflict with anybody here, and that's just what it is. And so there is, for me, there's at least that contentment of, where are we going? Now, this year, it's going to be very interesting. I'm going to a friend's house who's vegan, and I've never done vegan Christmas. So that's going to be new for me.
Yeah,
I can't wait to hear about that.
This is my first vegetarian Christmas as well.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, first time for anything. So, but it's okay because I know I'll get turkey on the 24th. So, I'm good.
I bet you're not going to miss anything, actually. There's
I don't
so
think so.
many good
She's an
options.
awesome cook.
Yeah.
So, I know I won't be missing anything. No, not at all.
Yeah.
So for me, the feelings I'm always struggling with Christmas, and actually more so New Year, I think I already said this last week, was that my grandmother dies on New Year's Eve. And so for me, there's that missingness on Christmas Eve. On New Year's Eve. And what I decided to do this year was to actually really acknowledge it and just lean into it instead of trying to lean out of it. Of lean into, okay, this is the day she died, and I have a sorrow about this, and that's okay. But that was one day 20 years ago. And I'm alive, my mom and dad are alive, my daughter's here, it's just, okay, respect it, honor it, but also celebrate the day that is.
Yeah, true.
So
yeah. I think any time a family gets together like that, you're always going to think about the people that aren't there, even if it's briefly.
Yeah.
All right, Tony's asking us, what do we suggest as Christmas de-stressors?
Oh, Christmas de-stressors would be locking yourself in the bathroom for 5 minutes.
That might be the very one, actually. If you have a really busy day and that's all the time you can carve out for yourself, then that's what you need to do.
It only takes 5 minutes to do a quick self-regulation.
Yeah.
Phase out, close your eyes, count your breaths, and get back in there, So I certainly think what would help with Christmas stress is to not remain quiet, but listen to everything that's going on and think about it before responding to it. I don't know how easy that's going to be if you're a wine drinker or a gin drinker or whatever else people drink at Christmas. Bailey's for me. But yeah, I would literally hide away for 5 minutes.
I like to throw myself into service when I get upset on Christmas. I'll go put myself in the kitchen and I'll clean the whole kitchen if something's bothering me, because that way I get to be of service to the host who agreed to have dinner over at her house, which is usually my sister. And then I also get away from something that may be going on in the other room and not make a big deal out of it. Like, oh, I can't take this. I need to go into the other room.
I'm the same.
It works. It works. Yeah. And then on top of it, people love you. They're like, oh my God, thank you so much. And it was really a coping mechanism for you.
Yeah,
that's the awesome part.
Okay, well, now that everyone's watched the video, they know that if you go do the dishes.
I think one of the other big de-stressors too is just not buying into all of the commercialism leading up to Christmas, absolutely. And not setting any false expectations on yourself or on anybody else. Like my son and I were just having a conversation yesterday, and he asked me what I want, and my answer always is the thing I want most is time together. That's the quality time together is the most important thing. But if he insists on getting me something, I like, and because I like that quality time, I'm like, I don't need anything. I don't need gifts. But if he wants to give me something, I'm like, give me a new board game that we can sit down and play. Something that is a gift, but then also brings us together.
Yeah, that's fabulous. Yeah. I know for me, one of my Christmas de-stressors is just accepting that what is. Like, leaving expectations of what Christmas is supposed to be, that all this is a get together. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to enjoy being present and not have these expectations of, well, it has to fulfill the following needs for me.
Yeah.
Okay. If I simply go in, if I'm going to connect with these people and I am going to have a heartfelt moment because I am giving compassion and love, I get the heartfelt moment. That's it. You know? And as long as it's not lowering my standards or expectations, it's just being, let's be in this moment. This moment will be what it is. And I really loved what Sharon said before about, the relationships are all year long. It's not, let's pile into one day or 1 week everything we should have been doing all year.
Yeah, that's true.
It creates like a
if you
hypocrisy.
are on not so great terms with somebody at the moment, you have, you've got 20 days right now before Christmas where you can clear up any misunderstandings that are outstanding.
Exactly.
So get to it. Don't save it for Christmas and don't ruin the day.
Oh, that's fabulous.
There.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, if we fix that now, then we don't have that going into that day. Absolutely.
Well, not only do we not have it going into that day, if we fix that now, going into that day, what we now have is the equivalent of a family reunion, because this is a relationship that hasn't been on good standing and that we haven't been present for and we haven't been connected to. And all of a sudden, this holiday becomes this joyous reunion between you and another soul where your relationship is kind of just tapered off. And I would much rather spend my Christmas that way than avoiding people.
Yeah. Yeah. So Tony Lee has another question. Do you ladies have any advice on how to avoid family drama?
Lock yourself away in the bathroom for 5 minutes. That's my answer for everything.
Go wash the dishes.
I think the most important thing to remember at Christmas, at any holiday or at any family event, is that perception is in the eye of the beholder. Yeah. So just because somebody comes to you at a family dinner to talk to you about anything that has to do with you, that is zero reflection on you. That tells you a lot about their belief systems and what's going on in their life and their limiting beliefs and their values and their past and their experience. But that doesn't really tell you much about you. Yeah. So when we're with family, if we can stay centered in the eye of, I know what's mine and I know what's yours, and stick to that, a lot of the drama disappears. Because when I'm upset and when I don't feel like my needs are being met in a family setting, I'm going to get bitchy and I'm going to start putting my hooks out to try and see what I can get, if I can get other people to join me as a lower companion in that emotion. So being solid and being like, this isn't my shit. This is not my shit. I fully acknowledge that this has to do with you. Being loving about it, but then you detach the drama from that.
And remember that you're under no obligation to ever accept an invitation to somebody else's argument.
Nope.
You don't have to participate.
Beautiful way of saying it, Sarah. Absolutely. Yeah. And obviously, I mean, there's going to be possibly situations where the other person wants to argue, and if they can't have it with you, they're going to look for somebody else.
Oh, absolutely.
But most of us in families already know who that is and who they'll go to. And if you plan for that as a family, okay, I'm not gonna participate, but I need all of the rest of you to agree you're not gonna participate either. Let's just agree that, if so-and-so wants to do that, we're not gonna play the game.
Yeah, we've already briefed each other on Christmas. I mean, my intentions, if ever I'm invited anywhere for Christmas, my intention is to create joy. If I walk into a room, then I want everyone to be happy and comfortable and joyful and, laughing. And that is my intention when I walk into a room with other people. So, if there's one person that wants to detach themselves from that joy, that's not my problem.
Yeah. Well, I love what Tony Lee says. The reason my family can be so easily push my buttons is because they're the ones that put the buttons there.
They installed them.
My brother pushes my buttons, and he won't mind me for saying it. I love my brother. He is amazing and creative and beautiful and kind, but we have an interesting relationship, shall we say. So yeah, that's kind of, but we both kind of know it, and we both know that he knows that he pushes my buttons.
Yeah.
So, I just don't engage.
Yeah.
I think one of the NLP presuppositions of there are no bad intentions is another thing that can seriously help us to avoid drama. Over the holidays, what could the good intention behind what this person is saying or doing be? And it may not be directed at you. The good intention may be directed at themselves, protecting themselves in some way, or trying to meet a need that they have a limiting belief can't be met in any other way but their behavior that they're currently displaying. But having that sense of empathy for other people, that they're not evil, they're not bad. There's a good intention behind what they're doing. It just happens to be based on a felonious or limiting belief of some sort that creates drama and havoc in the family. But there was a long period of time where I was not wanted around my family because I stole from your purse, and I did drugs where I wasn't supposed to do drugs, or I just wasn't around, and people didn't know if I was alive or dead. So I created a lot of baggage and a lot of damage in my family. And part of my living amends in that is trying to see the best in other people over a holiday setting when they're behaving in a way that I certainly behaved in previously. But now that I'm on the other side of that and I'm growing and I'm evolving, being willing to say, hey, I've been there before. I've done this. And remembering what it felt like inside when I behaved like that, how cryptic and dark and lonely and sick I felt inside when I was behaving like that, and trying to have some empathy for what that must feel like 24/7.
And the other thing I also want to add is there is always the possibility of not showing up.
Yep.
If my healthy boundary means that I go to a party at a friend's house, or I plan a holiday trip to the Caribbean or somewhere sunny, or I do whatever is actually best for me.
You know what pops to mind when you say that is Four Christmases. That's a great movie on that particular idea.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about, at some stage, there's moments where you say, well, actually, you know what? My boundary, my healthy boundary is that I don't show up to this. My healthy boundary is that I do what's right for me. And, it's rather than putting yourself in a situation where it's not going to go well. I don't have to go. I can choose not to. I mean, we talk about total choice here all the time about food, but total choice is not just about food. Total choice is also about where we spend our time, how we spend our energy, what boundaries we put in our lives. The same way I put a boundary with food, I can put a boundary in a relationship.
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, if you're forced into, well, you wouldn't be forced into, but if there's some avoidable situation you find yourself in at Christmas, then, what we've learned with all of Kane's studies, think before you react. Try and understand what that person might be going through, how they might be seeing the world, and respond accordingly rather than respond emotionally.
You were going to say something, Sarah?
I was going to ask you, what would you say to those people who feel compelled to stay away from an event, but are conflicted and feeling guilty about it, how to mitigate that feeling of guilt.
Go ahead, Char.
For me, it's that no one is owed access to you. No one. No one is owed access to your body. No one is owed access to your emotions, and no one is owed access to your mind. So if you, in good faith, are taking care of you, of your highest and greatest good, of what is going to make this upcoming year most nourishing, most contributory to your overall form and way of life, if that includes you not giving people access to you who drag you down, zap your energy, and make you feel shitty about yourself, then do that. Because ultimately, the only person on earth responsible for you is you. So if you decide to make decisions in your own worst interest, we have no one to blame for that but ourselves. If we decide that we are going to put ourselves in horrible situations just so that other people aren't uncomfortable, no, you are worth more than that. You owe to yourself as this magnificent creature who puts out energy and content into this world to ensure that what you're fueling that with is the best that you have to offer. And if family doesn't do that, then you take care of you and you thrive and you flourish. But you first, your oxygen mask first, or everybody's gonna fucking die. Okay.
Brilliant answer. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was also going to say, you know, I've had Christmases where I've organized a Christmas lunch at church for everyone that was alone this Christmas. And we don't normally have a Christmas service on Christmas Day because all the families are busy doing family things. And I've taken it upon myself a number of Christmases to organize a potluck lunch at church of everybody that's by themselves or that just needs somewhere to go. This is what we've got.
Yeah.
You know, and making sure that people understand that, you know, it's not about coming to church. It's just about having somewhere to go. We're having a lunch. That's it, you know.
And that is so Jesus right there.
And it's about, you know, I mean, we end up with, the church has a whole lot of oldies that we take care of with monthly food baskets, some of whom have no family members looking after them. We call every week to make sure that they're still okay. They have social workers that are stopping in to check on them and that sort of thing. But we're also checking on them and making sure they're okay. And we make sure that they know that for Christmas Day, come have lunch. You know,
that's awesome.
Because if they don't have family to go to, they're going to have lunch by themselves on Christmas Day. No, you know, at least come have lunch with us.
Yeah. The other dimension to what Sarah was saying was that if you know, it's one of the feelings I got last year was, you know, I was sitting in the car thinking, I don't want to go into this house. But because of one person, but then if I don't, I'm upsetting the other 2, 3. And I wanted to be there for the 3 rather than, you know, for the 1. So I showed up and, you know, put the funny, bubbly Fatbird show on. And, you know, I just got through it. But yeah,
what,
I mean,
what
there
show?
Is of that.
I'm positive that I misunderstood that.
Oh, I'm pretty sure you heard it right, Sharon. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I let it slip. I let it slip.
I am dying right now, Sammy D. That is absolute perfection. I love it.
And sometimes what Sammy was saying, sometimes the very best that you can hope for is just to get through it. And that's okay too.
Mm.
A lack of homicide on Christmas is always welcome.
Yes.
But, you know, I mean, on the flip side of it, funny fat bird scene aside, if I hadn't shown up for that, I just like making Sharon laugh. If I hadn't shown up for that day, then I would have gone home, and then I would have missed out from the joy that I would have got from,
all the rest of them that were there. And I think one of the most important things for me is that I need to do my grounding work. I need to make sure that my heart is full before I walk into that room.
Yeah.
Okay?
Wrapped and ready to
I
go.
am not going in there to get anything.
No.
I'm going in there to share the love I have.
Yes.
And so, if I'm going into a Christmas or a holiday meal or something thinking they have to give me, I'm going in on the wrong terms already.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that self-preparation of knowing I have enough, of knowing that I am loved enough, I am worthy, I am valuable. Before I walk in that room, my worth has nothing to do with who's in there and what they're going to give me.
Yes.
So, when we walk in with that in our heart, it doesn't actually matter what really happens or what they say.
No.
Because ultimately behind that is that fear. And it's the fear that I won't be accepted by my family, or I will be attacked by my family, or just in general, this is going to be a horrible experience. So we head into that with this fear talking to us in the back of our heads about everything that could go wrong. And if we just, and I'm so serious about this, if we just took 5 minutes and visualized that dinner going through all the way and going fine, your brain does not, scientific studies are showing that your brain doesn't know the difference between you calling something into consciousness and you actually having experienced it consciously. So your brain, when you visualize something, literally considers that an experience and adds that to your experiential pile of how you refer to other things in the future. So the more that we can visualize positive outcomes with family events, positive holiday feelings, positive holiday interactions with other people, that will manifest into our lives.
Yeah.
Patricia wants to know who's inviting her for Christmas dinner.
I am.
Come on over.
You are always welcome.
We'll all go to Sarah's.
Okay.
And
I
watch the
thought Sarah
whales.
was going to Canada.
I am. But I could stay home for everybody.
Seattle's gorgeous over the holidays. Oh, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
White Christmas or no?
No, it rarely snows here. It
Spokane.
snows up in the mountains. That's where we keep it.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's nice. That's really lovely. Lovely. Okay, you got somewhere where you keep it. Beautiful.
Yeah, we do. If I want to be in the snow, I could just drive for about an hour and a half, and there I am.
Oh, lovely. Okay, yeah, great.
It's perfect.
So yeah, I mean, for me, the food is a small part. Christmas. It's a small part of the celebration. Realistically, what this is supposed to be is about celebration of birth, rebirth, joy, family, getting together. And then we've gone and made it all about the presence of the food.
Well, what about all the non-Christians on Christmas?
It's still about the get together. And there's so many other holidays. I mean, how many holidays are there in December that aren't just Christian holidays? And, that's why it is the holiday season.
Well, actually, I kind of want to speak to that in that, did you know that Buddha was born on the 25th of December, also to a virgin? Did you know that Horus was born on the 25th of December to a virgin, had 12 disciples, was crucified, resurrected 3 days later? Do you know how many gods have the exact same story as Jesus Christ? And when I say exact, I'm not kidding. Exact dates, exact numbers, exact miracles that Jesus Christ did. So this is not just a Christian holiday. This is a holiday for every religion and every belief system, because so many of them were started on this day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's
And
not just about
actually,
Christianity.
no one knows when Jesus was born. So
But it
they
sure as
kind
heck
of guessed
wasn't
the
December.
25th based on the god mythos, who was born or died on the 25th. I don't know. But Christmas is actually a holiday stolen from paganism.
Yes.
Because when the Christians were trying to get all the pagans to become Christians,
And that was the easiest way to do it. And even as a Christian, I totally understand that is not the date. It's just the date of the celebration.
Yeah. But it is about family, really. I mean, when I think about Christmas, I get feelings of love and joy, and just to have us all around the table together for a day just fills me with joy, because we never do that during the year.
And I mean, for me, one of the most wonderful things of Christmas is a Christmas Eve service where it's a carol service of singing Christmas carols. You know,
Yeah.
I want that, especially if you've got, like our church does, they get the same 4 guys back every year who do a cappella Christmas carols between the 4 of them. Doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, I used to sing in a choir, but I mean, the reason I can't do the Christmas Eve choir thing is because I get so emotional. I just overflow.
Oh, I love that part of it. I
Oh,
love the
come on,
ritual.
isn't that the whole purpose of it?
Yeah.
I cry at a Yellow Pages TV ad.
So do I, but that's beautiful. That just means you're
You
deeply
could drop an
feeling.
eyelash and I would start crying.
Oh, but
Anything.
Do you guys remember the old Gillette commercials that used to, Sarah, do you remember those from the United States where it was, Gillette, the best a man can get, and it was all about father and child, and I would just sit there like,
Honestly, I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
really.
oh dear. Okay,
they really
so
get us.
Tony Lee says she's going to be in Mexico for Christmas. Who's going to meet her down there? And Patricia
I
says,
was going to Canada to see her.
"Oh, you're going to Canada to see Tony."
That's
Oh
not why
man.
she's going to Mexico, is it?
Might be. Hopefully there's a key under the mat. Oh.
Yeah. All right. And Tony's final question: what is each of you ladies' most favorite Christmas snack?
I love Christmas cookies.
Gingerbread.
I like the iced sugar cookies.
We
I
have
don't
things
know.
called, sorry, Sharon, go on.
No, you go right ahead, sweetie.
We have things called matchmakers, which are like,
I'm going to guess that's different than I'm thinking.
very different. They're like crunchy sticks
Like a spotted dick.
chocolate with like crispy mint in them. Very difficult to explain.
That
But-
sounds amazing. No,
They
I'm
are
serious.
absolutely legendary.
Sounds so good. Is it like that crispy wafery stuff, Sammy D?
Yeah,
Oh,
kind
that
of.
sounds so good.
But they're like the size of orange sticks, Sharon probably doesn't know. But they're made of chocolate with like crunchy mint in them. They are just
Sounds fabulous.
That
go
really
through a
does.
whole box.
like a thin mint, but with a bit of crunchiness on the inside. That actually sounds really good.
Exactly. Doesn't that sound amazing?
Yeah, it does.
I'll send you some.
Dude.
Man, if given the choice between that and fruitcake, please.
Yeah.
I would-
That's why they set fire to Christmas puddings, because nobody likes them.
Okay, Samantha. So you're going to be sending Sharon some spotted dick and some matchmakers. Anything else you wanted, Sharon?
I'll send you a care package, Sharon.
Oh, God. You
An
ladies
English
keep me
care
busy.
package with a dictionary.
From A to Z.
With the Queen's English.
With the Queen's English. Yeah, it's a good idea to do that.
All right, ladies, drawing this to a close this evening. We're a wee bit over time. Any final comments about, preparing for this, getting yourself ready for? I love Sharon's suggestion of you got 20 days before Christmas. If there's relationships that you need to mend, do that now so you can really enjoy Christmas together. I thought that was a fabulous suggestion.
I think that was Sarah.
Oh, that's Sarah? Oh, okay.
Just breathe.
Just breathe.
Just breathe and hand out a lot of hugs. People need hugs, heart-to-heart hugs.
Yeah, heart-to-heart hugs. Absolutely.
And if all else fails, hide yourself in the bathroom with a bottle of gin.
Oh, wait, you hadn't included the bottle of gin last time.
She does that right before we leave, so we can't talk about it. Crafty, Sammy D, crafty.
Yeah.
No gin. Gin bad.
Okay.
The best thing I could tell you to do is just be gentle with yourself. Yeah. Be kind.
Just calm down, fill yourself with joy, and just visualize a super day, and you will have one.
And I also need to point out that day is going to be a lot easier for you to manage the less sugar, carbs, and crap you put in your body that day. Absolutely. If you wake up in that morning and you load up on, I don't know about anywhere else in the world, but in the United States, we have Christmas stockings and they're often full of candy and stuff in the morning. If you get up and load up on that, allow me to tell you that you have just purposefully selected a crappy day with your family because you're going to start to crash.
Actually, it's really funny you say that because Christmas stockings for me are never full of cookies and candy. Christmas stockings were always full of small gifts.
That's what my mom does. She does it the week before Christmas, and then Christmas morning, after she's wrapped all of these amazing gifts, well into my 40s, mind you, she fills it with candy, and she always asks you, what kind of candy do you want? And if my diet's changed, she's really good about, putting other things in it, but there's always that availability of sugar and really bad carbs that's gonna create a problem. So part of our holiday experience is being responsible for the fuel we use to experience that holiday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a great advice, Sharon. Thank you so much. Well, ladies, it has been fabulous as always.
Sammy D will miss you.
Oh,
I just want to say, Beth, thank you for having me. This is my last panel, and I'm going to miss you.
Yeah, we'll see you on Facebook Lives on the other Ditch the Diet Face the Feelings panel that we're going to open up for the UK European time zone on a date and time yet to be decided.
Pure awesomeness, guys.
All right, so this has been fabulous. Thank you, ladies, and we will see everybody else next week. But be safe, take care of yourselves, and take care of yourself emotionally, not just the food. So good night. This is us done.